In a world where honor used to be settled with fists and discipline, a new generation is stepping into the dojo. But the fight isn't the same anymore. This is the story of a young fighter caught between the old ways of karate and the modern chaos that surrounds him, as legends return to teach what true strength really means. What begins as a clash of styles soon becomes a lesson in respect, redemption, and legacy. Stay till the end to see how the next Karate Kid learns that the greatest battles are not fought in the ring, but within. Very early in the morning, on a random day in 1986, Daniel LaRusso, a teenage American Miyagi karate trainee, visits his master, Mr. Miyagi, who's busy training at the Miyagi family dojo in Okinawa, Japan, exchanges pleasantries with the man, and then asks his elderly master to tell him who the people in the pictures plastered all over the dojo are. Right after telling him a thing or two about all of the Miyagi clan's ancestors, Daniel's master introduces him to Miyagi Shimpo Sensei, the first Miyagi clan member to bring karate to Okinawa, and explains that Shimpo's origin story dates from way back, when he used to be a fisherman who loved drinking heavy sake and partying like a dog. According to Master Miyagi, Shimpo fell asleep drunk on his fishing boat one day in the past after a fruitless day at sea and slowly drifted through the strong winds, all the way from Okinawa to the coast of China. When Shimpo woke up there, the Han family took him in and taught him the art of Kung Fu. Years later, after Shimpo returned to Okinawa, he fused both arts and created the bicultural martial art technique, now known as Miyagi Karate. Having said all that, the scene cuts all the way to the present day in Beijing, China, where we spot a bunch of students training in the Han School of Kung Fu, led by their master, Mr. Han, aka the legendary Jackie Chan. Around a corner in the dojo, the protagonist, Li Fang, trains with his Mu Qianjiang wooden dummy, when suddenly, a little Kung Fu kid spots his mother approaching the school's entrance gates, and rushes all the way back to the main hall to inform Master Han. To avoid getting scolded by the woman for encouraging Li Fang, her son, to train in her school, Han has the little kid stall the woman while he gets and hides Li Fang away from his mother's sight. Eventually, after watching the little kid try hard enough to slow her movements to the main hall, Li Fang's mother figures out Han's plan and calls him out when he shows up. To keep her sights off Li Fang, Han invites Dr. Fang, Li Fang's mother, for tea, but the woman tells him she's not here for tea. When Han starts trying to tell her more about the beautiful art of Kung Fu, Dr. Fang says she's not having it, seeing as she's already lost one of her sons to the art, and then, to avoid losing her other son, asks that he release Li Fang for her. Hearing this, Han continues yapping about Kung Fu and all it entails, but eventually, Dr. Fang shuts him up by giving him 2 New Yorker hats and revealing that she just got a job appointment at a hospital in New York. When asked why she's giving 2, Dr. Fang says it's so that Han can give Li Fang when he's finally ready to come out of his shell and face life as it is. That being said, Dr. Fang, knowing fully well that her son is right behind the wall listening to their conversation, tells him that they'll see at dinner, and leaves. Before long, Li Fang rushes toward his mother, who's just about to leave the school, and confronts her for not talking to him about her new job appointment yet. Tired of his childish rants, Dr. Fang sarcastically asks her son if he'd like to move to New York, but Li Fang says he's not leaving his life in China behind. Following this, the duo argues about Li Fang's hobby, which is fighting, as well as Dr. Fang's odd choice of language, but unfortunately, Mom's decision is final, and there's nothing Li Fang can do about it. Several days later, the move finally happens, and Li Fang and his mother move to the big city, where dreams come true after flying for 18 hours. Around evening time, when the mother-son duo arrives at their new apartment in New York, Dr. Fang compliments the decency of the place and urges her son to go check out his new room. Later that night, Li Fang, while chilling in his room, stares at a photo of himself and his elder brother, and then goes down to the living room to ask his mother's permission to go outside to get some pizza for dinner. Upon receiving her permission, Li Fang puts on his jacket, rides the elevator down to street level, and steps out into the nightlife of the wonderful NYC. Soon after walking and exploring the blocks around his apartment building for a few minutes, Bro finally stops in front of Victory's Pizza, the pizza place around the corner, and asks the first man he finds, Victor Lipany, who also happens to be the restaurant owner, if they serve stuffed crust pizza in their shop. After telling Li Fang that they don't serve that there, Victor the asshole advises that he gets back into his car and drives to a strip mall in New Jersey, which is miles away, all just to get his so-called stuffed-crusted pizza. At first, Li Fang stares at them, confused. But eventually, Victor's daughter, Mia Lipany, shows up, saves our dorky MC from her funny dad, and tells him all the pizzas they have available. Seconds later, after making his order, Li Fang asks Mia if she can also sell him toilet paper, and she stares at him, confused. Realizing that he's messed up, Li Fang explains that he just moved to NYC from Beijing and was looking for a convenience store to get supplies from, so Mia gives him directions to the nearest bodega, or convenience store, around the block. As he leaves the shop, with his order still in there, Li Fang gives Mia his name and smiles toothily on his way out. The following day, after the usual early morning hurried conversation between mother and son, Li Fang leaves his apartment with his mom and takes the subway to his school. There, he meets with Ms. Morgan, his guide and teacher, and listens to her yap about all the things he's to be doing as she walks him to his class. Hours later, during recess, Li Fang chomps down a burrito without noticing Mia sitting not too far away, and continues school like a normal new kid. Eventually, once school's over, the protagonist finds Mia in an alleyway struggling to pick up some groceries from their supplier, and cussing him out whichever way she can. Almost instantly, Li Fang approaches her, reminds her of his name, stuffed crust, and bends to help carry some of the produce. When Mia asks why his English is so good, Li Fang says it's because he went to an American school in Hong Kong, back when his mom was doing her residency there. Impressed, Mia makes a few jokes, thanks Li Fang for helping her out, and then walks with Li Fang to deliver the rest of the produce to the stores around them. Somewhere along the way, Li Fang spots a modern-day karate dojo named Demolition and looks into the glass to see the students training. Soon after, Mia asks Li Fang if he's into karate, and upon assuring her that he actually used to do that, she warns him never to train in that particular dojo. Mia tugs at Li, and they are about to leave, when a big guy named O'Shea calls Mia's name from behind. He tells Mia that her father owes him a call, given that her father owes him some money, but Mia responds immediately, telling O'Shea to tell Victor himself, and soon leaves with Li. Mia tells Li to stay off that particular block and that he would be alright. O'Shea walks into the Demolition Dojo, which he owns, and spots Connor, Mia's ex, and teases him about her moving on fast, as he had just seen her with Li. Connor's sparring partner laughs at it, which Connor doesn't take lightly, and kicks him heavily. Later on, at a Chinese store, Mia prices an item with Li standing beside her. She haggles the price with the shop owner until Li steps in and speaks Mandarin to the Chinese woman. When Li tells Mia about the price she is to pay, she is surprised, as it is lower than what the woman mentioned to her. Li lets her know with a smile that the price came down as the shop owner now realizes that he, her boyfriend, is from Beijing. They both walk out of the store laughing, given that Li isn't Mia's boyfriend. Li offers to teach Mia some Mandarin, as he lets her know that with it, she will get respected when walking into the store and get the local discount. Li tells Mia that, in return for teaching her Mandarin, she would teach him and show him New York. Mia tells Li that she gets off work early on Sunday and that she can show him a few spots around town. Later that night at dinner, Dr. Fang, Li's mom, asks him about his day at school and inquires if he made any friends. Li responds, telling his mom that he made a friend in Mia. Mia shows up at Li's place and takes him for a ride on her scooter through the city of New York. Not too long after, the scooter's engine dies, and they are forced to disembark. They decided to take a train back home, and on it, Mia's Mandarin lessons began. As they were speaking, trouble came along, with Connor approaching them, wanting to stir up something, as he isn't pleased that Mia is with someone else. As Mia and Li made a move to leave, Connor hit Li on the face. After stepping off the train, Mia apologizes on Connor's behalf, telling him that Connor is a psycho and that he wasn't really a bad person till he started training at the dojo. Mia lets Li know that Connor is not someone to be messed with and lets him know that Connor practices karate all day and wins an annual tournament, called the 5 Boroughs, every year. Li inquires from her about what the 5 Boroughs tournament is all about, and she explains it to him. She ends it by telling him not to get any funny ideas about participating in it. Mia takes Li to her dad's pizza shop and asks him if he can help with Li's swollen eyes. Victor gets to work, and after dressing his eyes he tells him to keep his guard up from that moment henceforth, and demonstrates how to do so. Li asks Victor about how long he has been fighting, and Mia lets Li know that her father was the best in the city at one point in time. Victor tells Li to put ice on the swollen eye before bed, sleeping with a tea bag on it as well. Early the next morning, Li's mother wakes him up by taking the tea bag off his eye and tells him that he isn't meant to fight in America. Li responds, telling his mother that he didn't have a choice, and she responds, telling him that he always has a choice. Dr. Fan takes Li to his tutor for his SAT exam, and leaves him there to enjoy his day. Back home in the evening, Li hangs up a kung fu poster on the wall as he unpacks some of his things. He picks up a picture, and a memory of his brother pops up while they were both in a kung fu dojo practicing. His brother shows him a specific move, which Li also tries but doesn't quite get. Li's brother tells him that someday, when he really needs it, he will get it. On a particular day after school hours, Li heads home, but Connor calls out to him, teasing him and asking him about his eye. Li keeps on walking as he wants no trouble, but Connor tells him not to walk away from him. Soon, they engage each other in a fight, with Connor showing off by not using his hands at all. Connor takes no time in flooring Li. As soon as Li gets up, he attempts the dragon kick, the special technique that his brother tried to teach him. Unsuccessful with it then, and yet against Connor, he is unsuccessful with it as well. The two are soon separated, and Connor tells Li, whom he calls Beijing, to fight him in the 5 boroughs if he really wants to fight him. Li leaves the places dejected and on his way home, picks up a poster of the 5 boroughs. At night, Li is outside when some hoodlums sent by O'Shea come to fight with Victor, Mia's father, as he still owes O'Shea some money. The fight soon starts, and Li gets himself involved in it. Victor, who was hit on the head, picks himself up after feeling dazed for a little while. Li, defeating the hoodlums, succeeds in driving them back, with one of them saying as they run with their tails between their legs that Victor should pay what he owes. Later on at the pizza shop, Victor asks Li if he would teach him kung fu. Victor goes ahead to let him know that he took a loan from people he shouldn't have, and now that the time is due and he can't pay up, they have come to collect by beating him. He lets Li know that the bad guys aren't going to stop and that he needs to be prepared. Li follows Victor inside, and he shows him a wall with his fighting pictures on it. He lets Li know that the birth of Mia is the reason he gave it all up. Due to his present situation, he informs Li of a guy who can set him up for a fight with rewards big enough to offset the loan he took, and keep the shop running as well. He pleads with Li to teach him what he knows, but Li declines and leaves, having made a promise not to fight any longer. Li and his mom head out to perform a tradition accustomed to New York City, where they live now, and while at it, Dr. Fong makes it known that she misses her son, Li's brother. Later on, Li picks up the phone and calls Han, his kung fu teacher back in Beijing, China. They catch up, and Li reveals to him that Victor has asked him to teach kung fu. Han approves of it after knowing that it is something that can help Li's new friend. After the conversation, Li walks into the pizza shop, and from the ensuing conversation, Victor knows he is ready to teach him. They head inside, where they practice. Mia meets them at it, and doesn't approve of her dad fighting again with Li, also training him. They all have a back and forth over the issue, and Mia lets Li know that if her father gets beaten, the blame would be on him. As days pass, Victor continues his training with Li. Elsewhere, during this training period, Mia, whose Mandarin has greatly improved, speaks to the Chinese shop owner by herself while pricing an item. One night, Li couldn't sleep and headed to the pizza shop to train using the punching bag. Victor walks in on him while he is at it, and they head out into the shop and talk for a while. Li reveals to Victor that he and his brother were attacked about a year ago after a big tournament in Beijing, which his brother won. He tells Victor that the sore loser, whom his brother beat up, wanted revenge and that the guy, alongside a few other guys, cornered them and fought them. Li makes it known that one of the assailants pulled a knife and stabbed his brother with it while he screamed for him to help, but froze. Victor tells Li that he shouldn't place the guilt on himself and that he has to deal with it, or it's going to deal with him. While taking his lessons with his SAT teacher at Victory Pizza Shop, Mia brings a pizza to their table and asks him if he is going to be going to San Gennaro later that day. Li initially declines because he has to prepare for his test, not wanting to disappoint his mom. Mia tries to convince him to, but Li's SAT teacher saves the day by lying that Li is crushing calculus to make him look good in front of Mia. Later that day, Li arrives at San Gennaro, and his SAT teacher, Alan, asks him if he has decided how he is going to make a move on Mia. Li spots Mia from a distance and smiles. The smile quickly fades after he spots Connor behind her. The day arrives when Mia's father, Victor, gets to fight. A fight is ongoing, whetting the appetite before the main battle commences. Li gives Mia the silent treatment during preparations based on what he saw at San Gennaro. Mia asks Li why she is being ignored, which Li initially denies. Mia lets Li know that she is stressed enough as it is concerning the fight and that Li's weirdness isn't helping matters. After much persistence, she manages to get him to divulge that Connor is the issue, as they seemed close the previous night at San Gennaro. They talk over it, and in the process, she lets Li know that she is done with that part of her life because she met someone else, him, with whom she wants to do new things. Li and Mia are about to kiss when Victor walks in on them. Soon, they head towards the ring for the fight to commence. Victor passes by O'Shea, who he owes money and has also come to watch the fight, and tells him not to bet against him. The announcer calls Victor into the ring. After taking instructions from the referee, the fight begins. The fight is tough as Victor takes multiple hits to the face, but after the round, Li encourages him, telling him that he is the better fighter in the ring. Li calls Victor from outside the ring and tells him to use the specific technique that he taught him, the 1-inch punch. Victor knocks his opponent down successfully with this punch. The fight continues soon after Victor's opponent recovers, and with the fight swinging Victor's way, O'Shea encourages Victor's opponent to play dirty. He obliges, punches Victor's face illegally, and soon after knocks him out cold. Mia rushes into the ring and calls out for help for her dad. She looks toward Li, asking him to do something, but freezes, just like he did the other night when his brother was killed. The ambulance gets there in time to take him to the hospital, and upon arriving at the hospital, Mia rushes along as her father is being wheeled in. Mia looks back at Li, who just stands there and doesn't go into the hospital with her, leaving her to be with her dad alone. Li's mom, who works at the same hospital, walks out to meet her son and asks him how he came to know Victor. Lee had to reveal that he had been training him to fight, to his mother's disappointment, as she was clear with him on the stance of no fighting. Back home, Lee is angry and blames himself for what happened. He rips apart his kung fu posters and puts away his fighting gloves. He reclines into a shell of some sort, and even refuses to pick up Han's calls from Beijing. One day, when he arrives home, he notices that something seems off about the house. Han, who came to New York without Lee's knowledge, given that he couldn't reach him from Beijing, lunges out and attacks him. They fight for a bit before Lee realizes that it is Han. Soon, Dr. Fan arrives, and they all eat together. She inquires from Han about why he is in New York City. Han replies, telling her that he feels like it is the right time to visit. Later on, Han heads to Lee's room, sees him, sad, and talks to him, encouraging him to get back on his feet after being knocked down by life. He tells Lee that they are going to see his friend, Victor, at the hospital the next day. The following day, Li Fang, alongside Han, arrives at the hospital to Mia's displeasure, as Lee hasn't been there when needed. Lee apologizes to Victor for everything he caused, and most importantly, the imminent loss of his shop. Victor responds and tells Lee that it is not his fault, nor his responsibility. Mr. Han tells Victor that a friend's problem is his problem as well and makes it known to him that they will help. He walks out with Lee, and Lee wonders what they can do to help the situation. Mr. Han tells Lee that he is going to fight in the 5 boroughs, and should make provision for where they will train. Lee asks Han where he is headed, and Han tells him that he is going to see a friend. Han arrives at his friend, Mr. Miyagi's place, bringing along with him a bottle of wine. He pays his respect upon seeing his friend's picture, who passed away some years back, on the wall. Soon, Daniel LaRusso, all grown, walks in and speaks to Mr. Han. Han tells Daniel that he did not come looking for Sensei Miyagi but for him. Han reveals why he has come to Daniel, but Daniel is reluctant to help, as he can't just leave where he is and head to New York. Daniel tells Han that there are plenty of good dojos around that Lee can learn from, but Han replies to him, telling him that he doesn't want Lee to learn just karate, but Miyagi karate. Han tells Daniel that Lee means to him what he, Daniel, also meant to Sensei Miyagi. Soon, Han leaves Daniel and heads back to New York with the hopes that Daniel will eventually show up despite his reluctance to. Lee reveals to his SAT teacher, Alan, that his uncle entered him into the 5 boroughs tournament, to his amazement, and tells him that they are going to destroy Connor. Lee reveals his worry to him, not knowing karate or having a place to train. A place is suggested by his teacher, Alan, and they both head there. Lee finds the place good enough, and soon, training begins for the 5 boroughs tournament with Mr. Han. Dr. Fong finds out why Han is in New York after she sees the 5 boroughs flyer, and tells him that she doesn't approve of it. Han tries to talk Dr. Fong into the idea, telling her that the fight is about not giving up for Lee and also for her. As Lee trains and prepares for the tournament, elsewhere, Connor also trains and prepares to defend his title like he has always done. Suddenly, Daniel shows up as predicted by Mr. Han to teach Lee Miyagi karate. Daniel makes it known that it is impossible to learn karate in just a week. Han heaps praise on Lee, letting Daniel know that he can take on any lesson thrown his way. Daniel joins in as he and Han prepare Daniel for the 5 boroughs tournament, where karate is highly needed. Days go by, and the 5 boroughs tournament comes closer with just 4 days remaining. Lee and Han talk, and Lee reveals to him the fight he had with Mia, which has led to them not talking anymore. Han tells him that in life, there is only one important question, which is it worth fighting for? Lee affirms that Mia is worth the fight and enacts his plan to make them see each other by ordering a pizza to where he trains for the tournament. Mia arrives and, to her surprise, meets Lee at the rooftop, alongside Alan. Alan encourages her to give him a chance, and soon, they begin to talk and catch up. Mia tells Lee that he doesn't have to fight, not for her dad and not for her either. Lee makes it known to her that he is doing it for himself, and that it will also be pretty cool for everyone if he wins as well. Days move quickly, and the 5 boroughs tournament's main day arrives. The rules are made known, with matches heading to 8 points or a knockout. 50,000 is the prize money set aside for the eventual winner of the tournament. The first round moves swiftly, with Li Fong having defeated his opponent via a knockout and Connor making it through to the next round. Back at the training ground, Lee continues to train with Daniel and Mr. Han. The second round of matches moves swiftly like the first, and soon enough, Lee and Connor defeat their quarterfinal opponents as well as their semi-final opponents, setting a blockbuster 5 boroughs final clash between the two boys who do not see eye to eye at the roof of a skyscraper in Midtown Manhattan a week from that time. Back in Dr. Fong's house, she asks Han about the tournament, and how it is progressing. Han tells her that it is progressing well and misses one element, which is her presence. Daniel and Han prepare Lee to fight the final against Connor, with Daniel telling Lee that he has plenty of experience with opponents like Connor who fight like tigers. Daniel tells him that the best way to defeat a tiger is to set a trap for it. Daniel tells Lee during the course of their training to use his opponent's aggression against him. Daniel and Han take turns using Daniel's body to drive a point, as they are from two different schools of thought, karate and kung fu. Poor Daniel suffers it all. Soon after, Lee trains alone, and Daniel admires him and tells Han that Lee is a good student and has had a good teacher. They talk briefly about Sensei Miyagi, with Daniel telling Han that passing on a piece of Miyagi's legacy whenever he has the opportunity has never been the wrong choice. While solo training, Daniel sees Lee making use of the dragon kick, and he asks him if he is going to use it in the final against Connor. Lee nods negatively, making it known to Daniel that he has tried it on Connor once before and didn't work out. Daniel tells Lee that it is perfect, to Lee's surprise. Daniel makes it known to him that it is how they are going to trap their tiger. Daniel tells Han about an idea he has, and they discuss using the dragon kick as bait to lure Connor in, as he would be expecting the kick. They work on it, and Daniel makes it known that Lee needs to drop low enough to be able to avoid Connor's kick, leaving Connor vulnerable to his strike. They practice this trap repeatedly till Lee gets it right, using an electronic gate. The day of the final arrives, and Lee is paid a surprise visit by his mom, who hasn't been supportive of him, and they start fighting again. Lee, thinking his mom would be negative towards him, is taken aback by her as she tells him that he would not be fighting alone and has her full support. They hug each other, and Dr. Fong tells Lee that his brother Bo would be so proud of him, as she is too. She sends her son out by telling him to go kick Connor's ass. Lee walks onto the stage and goes towards Victor, who has made a full recovery and is there to support him in the final. Victor cheers him on to go win it, which Lee appreciates. Han reminds Lee that they are going to be trapping a tiger that night. Connor gets introduced as he walks onto the stage. The rules are made known again, and soon after, the showdown begins between the two skilled fighters, with Connor taking the early advantage by grabbing the first 2 points of the match. As the match progresses, the scoreboard reads 0 for Lee to Connor's 4, making it look like a total wipeout. Lee manages to claw a point back by using the classic 1-inch punch on Connor. Soon enough, Lee Fong draws level by giving Connor a kick to the face, earning himself 2 points. After a bit more fighting, Lee Fong takes the lead against Connor, but only momentarily, as Connor strikes him with a headshot, which leaves him dazed for a bit. The scoreboard read 7 to both fighters, and with only 1 point left for grabs or an outright knockout happening, Lee knew it was time to trap the tiger with the dragon kick he had been working on. Lee starts with the move and begins to move closer to Connor. Upon seeing this, Connor believes he knows how it would end. What Connor fails to realize is that the move is a trap, as it has been tweaked just for him. Lee executes the dragon kick move perfectly, avoiding Connor's kick and scoring the last available point in the tournament. Lee wins the 5 Boroughs tournament to the joy of those around. His mom and his trainers come to the stage to congratulate him on his victory. Mia also comes up, elated, and kisses him. Victor lifts Lee off the ground in celebration as the crowd chants his name, Stuffed Crust, repeatedly. Having saved the shop, Victory Pizza, owned by Mia's father, Victor, began to sell stuffed crust pizza because of Lee. A pizza box was sent out to Daniel as well, with a note attached, courtesy of Mr. Han and Lee Fong. Lee wasn't just fighting for a trophy, he was fighting to prove he belonged. But somewhere along the way, he realized that real strength isn't about showing off power or pride, it's about finding balance, discipline, and heart. He stumbled, got back up, and faced his fears, only to discover something bigger than victory, himself. What do you think? Did Lee truly master karate, or did karate end up mastering him? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.